Hi, this is Cameron back again with another vinyl collection video. This is number 55, A part 15. It's the last video of my albums that start with the letter A, and then after this I'll start with the albums that start with the letter B. So whereas this took 15 videos to show 243 albums that start with the letter A, I imagine it'll take me about 40 videos to show all 685 albums that start with the letter B. So I hope that some of you will stick around with me as I show my collection. So let's get started on this final video of my albums that start with the letter A. First of all, as you know, I really like my different music from around the world, especially Latin music. I speak Spanish, lived 5 years in the Dominican Republic. My wife is from there. My first son was born there, so I'm always heavily into listening to Latin music. This artist is from Puerto Rico, Chucha Abianet. Yeah, it's Otto de Amor, so it's already time to love, or it's time to love. And I don't have a date on this one, but Chucha Abianet was from Puerto Rico, of Spanish, I think Catalan background. He did have one album that came out in the United States, I believe. It was called Spanish Trains or Train Songs, or I don't remember exactly, but it was Spanish. It was similar title to the Krista Berg album. Anyways, that doesn't matter here or there. Okay, and so I'll show you the album. And I have a second album by Chucha Abianet, and again I don't have a year on this, so sometime in the 70s or early 80s. This is a self-titled album, and I picked these two albums up when I was living in the Dominican. Next up, a Scottish funk R&B band, Average White Band, Warmer Communications. This album came out in 1978. So great pun on their label. Warner Communications is called Warmer Communications. So it shows a beautiful woman getting out of a hot tub. And then their next album from 1979, Average White Band, Feel No Fret. Next up, a classical album. So my classical collection is not as big as I'd like. On vinyl, I have, again, a fairly large collection on CD. But I need to start hunting out good quality classical albums. I know I've watched some VC members who are giving me a little bit of guidance on what labels have better quality sound than others. So this one's on EMI, Charles Avison, 6 concertos, and he's from the early 18th century. Next up, some folk, sort of country folk, Hoyt Axton, Free Sailing, from the United States in 1978. Okay, so this was a interesting pickup. Again, as I said, I like world music. I've traveled quite a bit through my work. At least I did my first 12, 13 years there. I used to travel about 2 times a year to some interesting place in Africa, Asia, or Latin America. And I had a chance to visit Philippines 3 times. And so I heard about this artist, Yala, and it's called Contemporary Music of the Philippines. So he's a very well-known folk artist in Philippines. This album came out in Canada, anyways, in 1987, and I'm not sure what year it came out. Oh, it says it was recorded in 1987, so in Mindanao, which is in the southern part of Philippines. I have a few of his albums on CD. One day I'll show off my Philippines CD collection, which numbers over 100. So when I have a chance to visit a place 3 times, you can imagine I pick up lots of the local music. So rock, folk, classical, a whole variety. Okay, next up, originally from Soft Machine, Kevin Ayers, The Confessions of Dr. Dream and Other Stories. Great album. So prog rock from 1974 out of the UK. And then an album a few years later, in 1983, Kevin Ayers' Diamond Jack and the Queen of Pain. Next up, from some chanson music from France, from the early 50s, 53 to up to 1960. Double album of Charles Aznavour, Je t'aime comme ça, I love you like that. I'm studying French right now, so this is a good way to practice my listening skills. This album came out in 1974. Okay, some Latin rock, a branch off of Santana, the first of 2 albums of Azteca. This album came out in 1973 and featured the, what were the brothers' names? Escobedo, yeah. And then their second and final album from 1973, Pyramid of the Moon, Azteca. Now I read in Wikipedia that they have reunited 30 years later, but I haven't heard any of their music. And then finally a band I saw at our Folk Fest, a number of years ago, maybe 20 years ago or 15 years ago, Aztec Two Step, a U.S. folk rock band. And this album came out in 1972. I believe they're still around today. So that's it for my albums that start with the letter A. Hope we can all take a little bit of breath of fresh air to get a break from it. And then soon afterwards, I'll start with the albums that start with the letter B. As I said, there should be about 40 of them. So I hope some of you stick with me. And please leave your comments at the bottom. Anything you could let me know about any of these artists. And please subscribe. Have a good day. Bye-bye.